After the massive flop that was Independence Day Resurgence, Roland Emmerich is back with yet another movie. This time, Midway. Hey guys, my name is Brandon, aka the BrandoCritic, and today I wanted to do something a little bit different with this review. I just posted my trailer reaction for Sonic the Hedgehog, and it is quite late here on the West Coast, but I did see Midway tonight, and I wanted to do kind of like a laid back, think of like a late night radio talk show host kind of a review for this movie. So with that being said, my name is Brandon, aka the BrandoCritic, and on this channel it's my job to point you in the direction of movies worth checking out. So that interests you, definitely hit like and subscribe. And today I'm here to tell you if Midway is worth a watch. So yeah, this is going to be a lot more of a laid back review, and it's going to be a lot shorter because honestly I don't have too much to say about this movie, but I wanted to get my quick thoughts out there before I go to bed tonight. So I was looking at my upcoming movies calendar and I saw Midway on there, and I'm a big fan of war movies. You have Saving Private Ryan, Apocalypse Now, Platoon, Born on the 4th of July, Fury. There are a ton of great war movies out there, and there's actually quite a few of them that I haven't even seen yet. I want to watch more of the Vietnam movies like The Deer Hunter or The Killing Fields. I haven't seen those movies yet. So anytime a war movie comes out with a big budget, I'm automatically intrigued. I'm like, okay. I'm automatically just on board. But then I realized that Roland Emmerich was directing this movie. Now, I was a fan of Independence Day back in the day. I haven't seen Godzilla. I haven't seen The Day After Tomorrow. And I was a fan of 2012 when it came out in the theater. I was 14 years old, guys. But basically, with the Roland Emmerich movie, I was kind of expecting, a giant spectacle, right? I was expecting a lot of action, lots of CGI, lots of pretty good CGI. But then I was also expecting, pretty thin characters, a lot of thin characters, and pretty forced story cliches or pretty lousy dialogue, some pretty cheesy moments. And that's Midway. If you've seen a Roland Emmerich movie before, you've seen Midway. But even still, I don't think this movie is terrible. I just found it just to be okay. Nothing spectacular, nothing really awful in the movie. It's kind of one of those movies where if you like the Pearl Harbor, the Pacific World War II era, those kind of movies, or if you just like that subject matter, then you'll get a kick out of Midway, and it's watchable. You'll enjoy parts of it, but it's not a movie that you gotta go see in the theater right away. For example, I saw this movie on Tuesday, and if you're in Canada, Cineplex Tuesdays is half price. So I was glad to see this movie at half price because this movie did give me some things that I really did enjoy, like the action sequences. Now, with Roland Emmerich movies, like I said earlier, you're gonna get that big spectacle. Roland Emmerich just loves lots of things happening on screen, and the action scenes, all the aerial dogfighting, it is well done. It is really intense, and it's really great to see. And of course, I love just like the war jargon. My favorite line in Star Wars is "Lock us foes in attack positions." I love all that stuff. I love, seeing the war generals, with a giant map on a table and talking about strategy. That's just a personal preference, or that's just like a personal interest of mine. I love just war dialogue between two generals, war dialogue between pilots in the air. You're gonna get that with Midway. And I think that some of the actors, while paper thin, and I will talk about that, they did a good job in the movie. Woody Harrelson, Patrick Wilson, Dennis Quaid, they fit this role well, and every time they're on screen, even though you don't know much about the characters, you are drawn in because, again, if you like war movies, if you like talking about strategy and stuff like that, then you will get enjoyment from these scenes. But that's the only really good parts about this movie, because the rest of the movie, it feels very forced, right? All the story elements, it feels like a formality at this point because you don't really get a chance to really learn about the characters. You're not really able to relate to them, know them, their strengths, their weaknesses. They're all pretty generic, standard characters, and there's a ton of them. In every single Roland Emmerich movie, there's always so many characters. And you might tell me, well, Brandon, these people are, they're real people. Like, these characters are based on real people, and I get that. However, I feel like whenever the story gets to, talk about the characters and they try to do emotional moments, it doesn't feel justified. It doesn't feel warranted. It feels just like a formality. Like, okay, you gotta have the hotshot pilot who's cocky, but then he gets more responsibility, and then, oh, he loses a man in battle, and oh, what's it like to be a commander? What's it like to lead in war? And then he's gotta talk to his wife about it, and there's gotta be this whole, I gotta get back to my wife. And of course, when he's flying, you gotta put the picture of the wife and the daughter in the cockpit. But these characters are just, you don't know anything about them. So the emotional moments or the emotional impact and the emotional investment into the story, it's just not there. You're not invested in the story because we like the characters or we're emotionally invested. We are interested in the story because of historical significance. If you like history, then you're invested into the story because of that. If you're not interested in history and you don't like war movies, then there's no giant overarching character story that's gonna save this movie for you. And that's really all I have to say about it. You know, I enjoyed my time with Midway because I do like war movies and I do like big, gigantic action on screen. But I do like overarching character stories, and I do like, you know, being able to get emotionally invested in the stories, and Midway wasn't able to do that. So for that, I'm gonna give Midway a 2 out of 5. I found it okay. I'm glad I saw it at least once. You know, I wasn't in the theater like rolling my eyes and shaking my head and going, oh my God, I can't believe I wasted my money to see this. You know what? I was able to go see it with my dad and we had a fun time while watching it. I'm glad I was able to watch it once. So anyways, guys, have you seen Midway? What did you think about it? Tell me down in the comment section down below. And also, what is your favorite war movie? I'd love to know. Mine is probably Saving Private Ryan. Anyways, guys, if you're new to the channel and you want to see more videos like this, definitely hit like and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. Take care.